Hey there, honey bunnies. Welcome to episode 29, Receiving. Manifesting through receiving in a more feminine, empowered way. The yin side of things versus the yang side of things, the yang side of things that we're so driven, so hounded on to do, to get out there and act, take action. It's not appropriate for everyone, and it's certainly not appropriate at the level that we are seemingly encouraged to go at 100 miles an hour or more till we drop. This is on my mind lately because, as some of you know, I've started doing human design readings and coaching. Actually, there's a human design basics for your business class that starts June 4th. You can find information about that on my Facebook page, or you can email me info@thatmichellewolf.com. It's $159 for a month's worth of support in a Facebook group, and you get your chart read and all of that. But I was pulling a card the other day because I'm a projector with no authority, sometimes called mental authority or environmental authority, meaning that before I make decisions or decide to take action, I need to talk out loud. Doesn't even matter who I talk out loud to. I just have to talk out loud and then feel my way through things. Well, that's the exact opposite of how I was raised in this culture, and to work and do more, and it's been a struggle to just sit back and receive because it has felt wrong. Like, it's so unfamiliar that it feels wrong. Even though I know at times in my life when I have been really relaxed and just having fun and taking lots of naps and working in my own rhythm of very intense work and then nothing, puttering around, and then intense bursts of work again. But following those rhythms, and especially the idea of I need to have fun for things to work, that's really been a system shaker. Because, like, what? You're supposed to have fun after you work. Silly. Not before. But if you're reversing it and doing it, especially in alignment with your strategy and your authority on human design, you can Google that if you want more information, or you can go to the website, my website, thatmichellewolf.com/human design. And you can book a reading and we'll go over it in detail. Anyway, my daily practice generally it's always a meditation, but sometimes I'll pull a card, and I pulled a card from the Sacred Rebels Oracle deck by Alana Fairchild, and it was perfect. And as I was reading it, I was like, this is perfect for projectors too. Like, this couldn't be any better. And I think for all people who are trying to do less and achieve more actually by doing less, do without doing. The card is number 20 if you have the deck, and it's called Softly, Softly, the Tender Touch. The feminine wisdom of gentleness can assist you now when we are at a point in life where we want to attain greater things, but don't necessarily have a proportionately greater supply of energy at our disposal. It's time to work smarter rather than harder, and this is the way of feminine wisdom. This is so interesting. However, a cultural ignorance of the feminine way currently prevails, right? We're taught the more force we use, the more we will achieve. And the feminine way is not about force, not about driving, striving, pushing, or grabbing. It's about inviting what we wish for to come into the space we have provided for it internally and in our lives. And the word invitation applies to projectors well. We have to wait for invitations from outside ourselves. Now, those invitations don't have to be like, I'm inviting you to work for me. It can be an email. Or they can be softer than that. It doesn't have to be that direct. And it doesn't have to be about little things either. So if you're a projector, like, you don't have to wait to be invited to go get your oil changed or to go to lunch with someone. So, but I like this line. It is about inviting what we wish for. There's no effort, right? There's no effort in that. I know that so many of us are so tired of striving and struggling and pushing and being tired and saying, well, we better just make one more post or do one more live stream or write one more Facebook ad. It's time to let go of that. Inviting. This method, it cultivates more energy, causes less stress, and attracts what is desired. It is manifestation by invitation rather than by will or force. And she writes about this old story. This is an old, I don't know if it's a fable or where it comes from, but you've probably heard it. But it's really relevant to this concept of doing less and letting, really what's at the bottom of a lot of that is trust. I know for me and a lot of people, we don't trust that if we just are happy that things will come. We're so anxious underneath it all and distrustful that things are going to work for us that we're out there working like dogs, harder and harder. And the thought of sitting back is like, well, if I sit back and try to create through invitation, I'm going to freaking starve to death. I don't trust the universe to come through for me, right? That's underneath a lot of that. If you really can't let go and you really can't stop yourself from always thinking about making it happen, there's a lot of fear underneath that. So the story is, the sun and the wind were debating about who was more powerful. After boasting about their prowess, they made a wager. A man walked down the street with a coat on. The wind and the sun decided that whomever could force the coat off the man was the most powerful. The wind began demonstrating its impressive power. It blew and caught underneath the coat, pulling it and nearly ripping it right off the man. But the man wrapped his coat around himself more tightly to protect himself against the force of the wind. Eventually, perhaps temporarily out of puff, the wind gave up. The sun took over. He shone down, becoming brighter and brighter, until the man slipped off his coat, slung it over his shoulder, and walked down the street, quite possibly wondering what was happening with the weather that day. The wind attempted to do by force what the sun was able to do by being. Just by being the sun. Not trying, not forcing. The wind forced, the sun just existed. You are being asked to surrender your forcefulness, your determination, and your intense activity. Does this mean you have to surrender the goals you were chasing through these endeavors? Certainly not. This is about letting go of achievement. It's about understanding the process of manifestation in a more intelligent way, right? Work smarter, not harder. Quit banging your head on the brick wall. Quit staying up so late at night trying to read more and more marketing and take more and more online courses and, trying to master all the social media instead of, finding one that you really enjoy and doing that. Or, growing your email list and putting your energy there. We don't have to do all the things, and if we try to, our energy is really diffuse. And it's so scattered. And most business people, especially in the beginning, or, or you don't have consistent revenue, you can't hire a social media marketing team to handle it for you. So if you're on Facebook and you prefer Instagram, that comes through. The energy of that is felt on an unconscious level. Not letting go of achievement, about understanding the manifestation smarter. There is a way of creating that gives you energy and doesn't leave you worn out. It's about allowing what you want to come to you. Be yourself absolutely, naturally, and with ease. Shine your light and allow your presence to invite that which you wish to receive. Be yourself absolutely, naturally, and with ease. That can be hard when you're dealing with social media. You have to go through a stage of, what's Aunt Agnes going to think about me posting an opinion on abortion rights? What's Uncle Bob going to say if I talk about forest Reiki? I'm loosely giving you examples, but that voice in your head that says, I don't know if you should post that. You might offend someone. Someone might come at you. It's restrictive. Not wanting to post pictures of yourself without filters or, posing just so, or just having your makeup and everything just right. Not wanting to really be the unfiltered you, like across the board unfiltered. You know what it's like to be with people, and you can tell the people who are just, they don't care. They're just being themselves. They're relaxed. Maybe they're chatty, or maybe they're really quiet, but they're there. They're present, and they just are. Just being. Versus the person who you can feel is wearing a mask. They're presenting this persona that's out of alignment or incongruent or not in harmony with what they really think. They're wearing a mask, and you can feel it, and it's tense. It creates this subtle tension. I think most of us prefer to be around people who are relaxed and just being themselves, whether we like them or not. There's plenty of people that they're being themselves, and they are not people I would spend time with. But I respect that you see, what you get is what you see is what you get. They are out there. They are telling you, this is who I am. This is my identity. Take it or leave it. That's refreshing. Even if they're obnoxious. Howard Stern's obnoxious, but, he's a good example of he is who he is. Do people listen to Howard Stern? I never have. If you do, no judgment. Being yourself naturally, shining your light naturally, and trusting and allowing that your presence is enough. I have written on my refrigerator, your aura is your advertising. My advertising is not Facebook ads. They never work for me. I've done all the formulas and the algorithms. Ugh. My aura is my advertising. Because that is what is radiating out to the world. To the people who are restless and looking for a teacher, I'm sitting here radiating my light, and I have to trust that they will find me. And when I'm really centered and grounded, they do. I don't know how people find me because I don't advertise other than, my social media stuff. I'm a terrible newsletter writer. I'm really bad about keeping up with my email list. All apologies, by the way. It's about cultivating an energetic affinity with what you seek rather than feelings of lack and need. Do you see the subtle but important difference? Cultivating an energetic affinity. Cultivating is an important word right there. You do have to cultivate it. It does require daily monitoring of what you are posting and what you're giving your attention to. How riled up are you letting the headlines get you? How much power are you giving to your employer or the other people on the highway or your kids or your spouse or your partner? You've got to cultivate that, meaning that's where your work is. If you want to work harder, I don't recommend it. But if you want to really focus in on something, focus in on what you're allowing to go on in your own head. All the blah blah chatter, border collie bark bark, woof woof. How much of that are you allowing? How much of that are you letting drive your body bus through the day? Cultivate it. Cultivate trust. Look at where you don't trust. Look at where you feel like if you're going to get it, you're going to have to get it for yourself. And you're not going to ask for help, even from your own Team Invisible. Somebody asked me the other day what Team Invisible meant, and I apologize for never explaining that. For me, that's the catch-all term I use for anything that I can't see that might possibly be a helper. I can't, I have that part of my mind that can't reconcile angels and guides, even though I do believe it on the other part of my brain. So Team Invisible is just anybody that, is invisible that might be on my team and willing to help a girl out. So, cultivating, asking for help, cultivating, being aware of what you're letting happen in your mind, in your energy. You could say practicing an energetic affinity. So to feel that you are already a naturally abundant being who gratefully invites more of what you want into your life is so different than feeling lack and fear and wishing your world would change. Or, God forbid, slipping down the self-pity slide into the martyr mud to flop around and feel sorry for yourself. She compares it to dressing for the job you want, even if it's not the job you have. To energetically embody what you want to attract more of in your life. That's hard, right? When you don't feel abundant and you have to embody abundance. You have to love money. You have to enjoy wealth. If you want wealth, you have to pick apart those stories. Or, you can just decide how you're going to feel in core desired feeling style. Decide you're going to feel luxurious or wealthy or whatever. A core desired feeling is the same thing as like finding the feeling tone of what you want. Finding the emotional tone of what you want. What is the other one? Energetic priority. That's from Corey Michelle. You can follow her on Facebook. I don't know what her last name is. Making the energy you want in your life a priority to you, to the point that you are all day long self-checking. Am I feeling wealthy? Am I feeling trust? Am I feeling magical? Or whatever it is, and doing what it takes to generate that feeling, cultivating that feeling, practicing that feeling. even when you don't have it. Somewhere along the line, I think as adults, or as kids really, we just lost our ability to play pretend. I know my sister and I, and there were various other kids around. We playing pretend was like what we did. We pretended. We used to sit out in the front yard. My cousin had bucket seats from a dune buggy, and they were out in the front yard, and my sister and I would play Star Trek. We were in a spaceship. We didn't think twice about it. What are we going to pretend today? What stories are we going to make up and put ourselves into? That's just what we did all day long. That's how children learn. That's how children practice their identity, the roles, the things that they see modeled around them in their families and on television, social media. Why do we struggle so with practicing and pretending that money's not an issue? That if we want to go to Paris, well, we just block out the time and we go. It's not a thing. Maybe it's just me. I have trouble pretending still. I'm getting better at it. I'll walk around and I do think that helped me go to Paris twice last year. With, on paper, didn't look like that was going to be possible. But it was. It did happen. It wasn't a luxury trip. I got to experience being on a very tight budget in Paris rather than at home like I usually am, which was kind of cool. I viewed it as like a social adventure. Just an adventure. How am I going to stretch €1 in the same way I would stretch $1? It was kind of fun. Anyway, practicing. You energetically embody what you wish to attract more of into your life. So here's the message. You don't need to push. You don't need to push to receive what is naturally coming to you by virtue of what you're practicing, the energy that you're radiating. Your push comes from a place of uncertainty over whether or not you will succeed. You need to relax and have more faith in yourself. All things come in time. Oh, we hate that one, don't we? It'll get here eventually. Oh, yeah. Will it really? Will it, Karen? Will it get here? Are you sure, Janet? Is it really going to get here? Here comes the distrust, right? The anxiety, the uncertainty. Things come rightfully and according to loving wisdom. You shall have your time and shine too. Rebel against any voice of fear within you or around you that tells you otherwise. It is okay to become softer, to feel the energy of what you wish to attract into your life and to act as much as you can as though it is already that way. You're not failing to live in the real world if you do this. You're actually working with the feminine art of manifestation through gentle beingness and attraction. As you soften into becoming what you are seeking, what you wish for will not be able to resist your shining, inviting presence. Doesn't that sound gorgeous and lovely? We've all known women like this, right? Where they just light up a room and people flock to them. I do. When I see someone like that, of course I gravitate toward them. I want to see why they're so shiny. And I just love the image that creates. And this is for men or women too. Like, feminine ways of creating this is not a gendered thing. There's different ways to create. And you'll go through cycles too, right? There's going to be times when you are acting outward and you're working hard for a short period of time, hopefully. And you're taking breaks as you should. Drinking a lot of water, taking a nap. And then there's going to be times where you go back to radiating and creating that way. And then as it shows up, you move into action when it's time. But I love this image. Soften into becoming what you are seeking. And what you wish for will not be able to resist your shining, inviting presence. By doing this, you are part of a global healing manifestation process. You are, through your way of being in the world, helping to birth a new awareness. And this new way will heal the human heart and bring it back into balance with nature. And this is essential for the human soul to survive, flourish, and to cooperatively nurture the earth rather than destroy her natural resources. You may or may not be consciously aware of the extent to which this new way of manifesting through receiving rather than taking can actually help all of humanity. But nonetheless, it is playing an important role in greater human evolution. The power of attraction, of magnetism, rather than that of striving and force. This way will replenish your energy and restore your body, mind, and heart after your struggle. This change in approach will encourage the shift from head to heart that is essential for your individual well-being and for the greater humanity. You heal and the world can heal. The healing or the mantra she gives is, I shine like the sun, radiant with grace, and all that I desire comes to me according to perfect timing. I relax, believe, and receive through unconditional love. This is now so. I wrote part of that in my planner. I relax, believe, and receive. That's perfect. Just relax, believe that it is possible. And you know what? You don't even have to 100% believe it. You just have to believe that it's possible, that maybe it could. One thing I say to myself every morning these days is, how many ways can I receive money today? I've gotten a lot of gifts lately. I set an income goal, and I made that goal through gifts. Now my car loan won't take a free air conditioner as a payment. But I did receive a really nice air conditioner. When I added up the value, I was like, oh gosh, I totally made my goal already. Now I need I need that amount of cash now. Because we don't trade in goats or air conditioners around here. But you know what I mean? Like, being in the flow. Your aura is your advertisement. Your aura is your advertisement. For whatever you want. Maybe it's clients. Maybe it's ease and grace as you go through your day. And just some peace. Turn off NPR. You don't need to listen to it nonstop. Or CNN or Facebook or whatever it is you're addicted to. Turn that shit off. Check in twice a day if you feel like you've gotta. If you've got really bad FOMO, check in twice a day and see what the news headlines are. They very rarely change quickly. And believe me, if it's something big, somebody's going to text you and tell you, have you seen blah, blah, blah? When I first gave up news, when I quit watching the news, I had always watched the news, probably because my family did. Everybody watched the 10 o'clock news or at 9 or the 9 o'clock news, whatever it was. But I got hooked on CNN and I had it on all the time. And then I was like, yeah, this has to stop. And I realized that I didn't have to pay any attention to the news because somebody would tell me about it. Also, don't pay any attention to weather because somebody will tell you, hey, this thing's coming or it's going to rain today. Okay, I'll take a jacket. So your aura is 3 feet roughly, on average, let's say. 3 feet in every direction. What are you filling that space with? If you think about, you could think about it this way if this helps. Think about your aura as your invisible house. What do you want invited into your house? Your invisible house bubble around you. How do you want to decorate it? What kind of energetic pictures do you want to hang on the wall? Well, how do you want people to feel when they come into your space? How do you want to feel inside your own house bubble? Do you want flowers in every room? Do you want it to smell good? Do you want it to feel light and bright and welcoming? Do you want wind chimes and hot red geraniums everywhere? Like, what do you want in your space? What kind of feeling do you want in your space? Do you want your house bubble to feel like a fun house of scary things? Or, where there's like little anxious energies hiding in all the corners, chewing on their fingernails? Is that what you want in your house bubble? Come on now. I'm going to play with that. Like, how do you want to cultivate your space? What kind of plants? What kind of smells? What kind of colors? What kind of animals? Do you want it to smell like fresh bread or, new roses? Think about that. You're carrying around that house bubble every day, all day, as long as you're wearing a physical body. You're radiating an energy that's measurable. That's not even woo-woo bullshit. It can be measured. You feel it. Plus, if you're worried about woo-woo, why are you listening to me anyway? You need to go listen to Gary Vee or somebody. Some bro marketer. Even they talk about this stuff, though, in different ways. Okay. I relax, believe, and receive. Try that on. Ask yourself, what stories and conditioning are you carrying around that prevent you from just relaxing and smiling at the people you see and chit-chatting in the grocery line, or feeling love for your fellow travelers? What stops you from being light and easy about it? What kind of stories do you have wrapped up around the words work and fun? In the thesaurus, fun is the antonym of work. I was like, oh man, I got a lot of work to do. Pun intended. Cultivate your garden space. Cultivate your house bubble. Let me know how it's working for you, if it's working for you. If you want to know more about the human design stuff, especially this class coming up, because right now it's at beta pricing, $159 for a month, for several hours of coaching and going over your chart, just the basics, because we have to start with the foundational basics. So we're not going to talk about gates and channels and all the fancy stuff that's in human design. We're going to talk about the nuts and bolts of how you get through your day efficiently and effectively and magnetically and easily with fun. Dang it. All right. Message me about that if you want in. June 4th again, we start. So you have a little bit of time. And I think that's it. Let me know. Let me know how it works. Find me on Facebook, facebook.com/thatmichellewolf. Or again, you can email me. I'm on Instagram too, but mostly that's cat pictures. pictures. Instagram.com/MichelleWolf11. I'm on Twitter too, but I'm never on there anymore because it's a cesspool. Alright, think less, feel more. Have whatever dang day you want to have. I'll talk to you next week.